Hi, I'm Marty Levinson, and welcome to the Northtown News Magazine.
Hi, I'm Marty Levinson, the real Marty Levinson. All these people have been doing me for 7 years, maybe 8 years, but I really am the Marty Levinson that you all want to see. Welcome to the Northtown News Magazine show with the greatest cameraman around, Sonny Hirsch, and your host of 22 years on television, Avi Myers.
Thank you, Marty. Avi Myers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. You can dial us up on the web at www.ntnm.org. All of our shows are on YouTube. Follow the links. You'll click on the pictures. That'll bring you to the various videos, and you can go to YouTube from there. Not to mention there's a schedule there, and we've got all the shows from the last 6.5 years on available to people. And it's really pretty cool. That's something that Sonny Hirsch does in his spare time. Community policing, we're very big on that. Caps24.org, Sonny Hirsch in his spare time is the chairman of the 24th District Advisory Committee. And Commander James Roussel has been terrific to work with, and he does like the idea of community policing. He likes the input back and forth and the open dialogue with the community. And he's taken great pains to make sure we still have monthly meetings. Well, other than December when those guys went a month off, so they're entitled to that. But we'll take 11 a year. That's appreciated greatly. It is a pleasure to introduce you to somebody new and somebody who comes highly recommended, the Alderman of the 3rd Ward, Pat Dowell. How are you?
Very nice to meet you for the first time, Avi.
First of all, my pleasure. And you were saying we might have met again. Who knows?
Somewhere in Chicago, I'm sure.
It's very possible. Where is the 3rd Ward?
Well, we're located on the south side of the city. My ward runs from basically Roosevelt Road to about 57th Street. Along State Street, east and west of State. I also jump the Dan Ryan at about 36th Street and go to about 55th Street. So I have the neighborhoods of the South Loop, Graham Boulevard, better known as Bronzeville, Fuller Park, a little bit of Washington Park, and a little bit of Armour Square, and a little bit of New City.
It's actually over 5 miles long.
Yes, you were talking earlier about the shapes of various wards.
Yeah.
Mine looks like a guitar.
I noticed that. It's just this really weird shape. I mean, if you go to the city of Chicago and you get to the 3rd Ward and all that, you can get like the maps of the various things, and none of them are like square and logical.
But actually, the shape is weird, but it is a logically oriented map. It keeps together the various communities. I have a major portion of the South Loop, which is divided, but it is still the main part of the South Loop, south of Roosevelt Road, all of Graham Boulevard primarily. I share a little bit of that with Alderman Burns, but in all of Fuller Park, I was thinking about that, all of Fuller Park, and so I think it's a logical map.
No, listen,
very diverse community.
That I can, it's true. I mean, the whole world is so diverse these days, but the truth is, you've really got an interesting mix.
I have a mixture, in terms of the demographics, racially mixed. It's mixed economically.
Yeah.
I even have a small population of Chinese that are not living in Chinatown. So
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. So it's.
I know that they've actually expanded. I used to do a lot of my business in Chinatown, of all things. And I know that I was meeting with people like on 35th Street in your state.
Well, Chinatown is really busting out of its seams. It has gone past the traditional boundaries of Chinatown, and you'll find the Chinese population moving into the Bridgeport area, Canaryville, east of what is that, the Red Line?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they have grown in population.
It's interesting. Very, very interesting community. I mean, it was really interesting to deal with them. So many of them are so focused on business, more so than almost any group I've ever met, but they're really successful. So many of them are successful business people and really know what they're doing. So always love to see hardworking people. That always is a good thing. How long have you been in politics?
I haven't been in politics all my life. I mean, I am by trade a social worker.
Oh,
I came to the city of Chicago in 1978 to go to grad school at the University of Chicago. I graduated from the School of Social Service Administration. I'm a social worker, and I have been a social worker working at community development corporations, both on the south and the west side of the city, building housing, doing economic development, community organizing, and sort of fell into the aldermanic role. And have been an alderman now for about 5.5 years.
that's terrific.
I'm
So
in
you're
my
a
second termer,
Yeah,
and I love it.
yeah. No, that's great. I mean, who was the alderman before you?
The alderman before me was Dorothy Tillman.
Oh, I know Dorothy Tillman.
For 24 years.
Yeah.
And I'm, I would say, probably the second woman to represent the 3rd Ward.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, she was always famous for the hats and certain flamboyance. So, no, very good. You've got a real solid reputation as a good person. I mean, all the interesting things I hear about some of the other aldermen and their business interests and self-needs, I never hear any of that stuff about you.
Well, I'm a full-time alderman. I don't see how you really could do anything else in this position. You are an alderman from the time you get up in the morning to the time you go to bed, and even after you go to bed, you're still an alderman because the phone inevitably will ring on some occasions at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
For a fire or, God forbid, some shooting or something. And then on the weekends, when it's your time to do laundry or go shopping, inevitably you'll run into somebody in the store and they want to talk to you about some of their needs, and you have to listen and fulfill what they're asking about. So it's not a job you can just do 9 to 5.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, some of the other people in City Council have other ventures, and some of them very lucrative.
Well,
We're not mentioning any names. You have to mention.
I'm not mentioning any names.
But no, I think that's the right way to do things. I mean, it's a really, it's funny. I had somebody once told me, we were talking about the presidential election and the Senate elections here, and the guy told me, I don't care who the president is, I don't care who the senator is, I care who takes care of my street, I care who picks up my garbage. In other words, he thought the closer to home the elected official was, the more important it was to his well-being and the neighborhood's well-being.
You know what? I was driving up here to meet you today, and I literally have not been on Lakeshore Drive North for a very long time, and was surprised at all the changes that I've seen in the neighborhood here. I spend most of my time in my ward, downtown, or working on issues that concern some of the wards that are adjacent to mine. I rarely get out.
Out of curiosity, as long as you mentioned it, the last time I was on South Shore Drive, I was driving my uncle back, and I got 2 flat tires, one on the way there, one on the way back. How's South Shore Drive doing these days?
South Shore Drive is doing wonderful. You need to drive it again. It's much better than North Lakeshore Drive, to be honest with you. I notice a lot of the road is older.
Yeah. Well, they're continually repaving. And actually, and this wasn't something I ever meant to do, about 6 years ago I gave up my car. My car broke down. I decided I wasn't going to, my next door neighbor is a mechanic and he would fix up cars and all that and sell them. So I decided I wanted a half-decent car this time and not just go the bargain route. And I started walking. I started feeling healthier. I lost about 50 pounds. And I'm a CTA person and a walker.
Well, we've spent a lot of money working with the, not money, but we've spent a lot of time getting the CTA to invest money in our communities. So, we've done some improvements along the Green Line. We're having a new Green Line station added at 22nd Street. We're about to start with the rehab of the Red Line in May. So we're trying to make public transportation quicker and easier for the average constituent who uses that and must depend on that. So that's something I'm real proud to have worked on.
No, that's terrific, and it is important to people. By the way, if you want to see a melting pot sometimes, get on a bus, people. I mean, you get to see all of society that way. It's very interesting.
Another way is to ride a bike.
Riding a bike is very good.
That's something I've been doing.
Ah,
And can't wait till it gets warmer so I can do it again.
well, being a native South Sider and from South Shore, actually South Chicago until I was 5, then South Shore, I used to ride bikes all the time on the South Side, and I was really into it. But on the South Side, at least then, I mean, it was big wide streets, and it was one way. And I've got to say that I always thought the drivers on the South Side were much saner than the North Side, because after a few close brushes up here, I gave up my bicycle.
But we've added some bike lanes. You know, we've been trying to put more bike lanes down some of our streets. We just recently did 31st Street, and we're going to be doing State Street hopefully this year. We have to make a way for people to feel comfortable,
Yeah.
and it's not quite there yet, but it's getting better.
Well, as a matter of fact, in front of the house, my street, I live on Pratt, it's a bike lane. And it gives me, the few times I'll venture out, I'll follow the bike lane over to a park. But I don't want to, you know, which I was the tallest guy in my high school. And by the way, this is the tallest person I think that's ever been
And
in
I
the
was
house.
the tallest girl in my high school.
And I was too big a klutz to make the basketball team.
Well, I can't say that. I played basketball and was not a klutz.
You know? Well, you know, I think I'm 6'3.5" now, but I was 6'4" barefoot. And the best I could ever dunk was a softball. I could never, even though I could palm a basketball, I could never, you know, quite get high enough. And that killed me. But no, I was never an athlete. And that's part of the reason I'm afraid of the bicycle. Because I don't have the reflexes to get out of the way of some of these interesting drivers in our neighborhood. So
That's
when I
the
see
importance of bike lanes and the things that separate the bikes from the cars and from the pedestrians.
Yeah. By the way, I do love playing basketball. I just know I'm not good at it. when you know I get time for the 100-yard dash in high school, they'd use a sundial. So okay, let's get back to your ward. So what kind is there like any kind of main business type thing? Is it neighborhood businesses? Is there manufacturing there?
No, we're a typical bedroom community, I would say. We have several commercial corridors, 35th Street, Michigan Avenue, 43rd Street, 39th, 47th Street is one of our main commercial areas, 51st Street, 55th Street. So we have that typical city quarter-mile commercial corridor that you find in most neighborhoods on the south side. We do not have a lot of large manufacturing businesses. We do have some in the stockyards, which was a part of the third ward.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's not now. I mean, in the remap, I've lost
Well, come
a
to think
portion
of it,
of
Halstead, yeah, 35th. I used to go to the International Amphitheater when I was a kid. That's where the Bulls actually used to play there.
West of Halstead was a portion of, used to be a portion of the third ward. So we have a lot of small businesses and a lot of institutions, the Illinois Institute of Technology, Columbia College, Provident Hospital are major job generators in the community.
Interesting. I'm a graduate of Columbia, by the way. So always liked the place. Is Michael Reese Hospital, well, Michael Reese Hospital doesn't exist anymore. Was that part?
No, that's in the fourth ward.
Yeah.
I do not go east of King Drive along 31st Street.
Gotcha. Boy, I haven't thought of some of those streets. My father, he had a business and he used to sell things like school supplies and sundries and notions to drugstores. And I used to go with him along 47th and 51st and 35th in particular. Yeah, I haven't been there for a long time.
We're doing a lot of work on 51st Street. We've got a new restaurant venue that's being developed now at 51st and Prairie. A young man in our community is bringing in a 4-restaurant venue there. So that's something that we need in the community. And along 47th Street, we're beginning to work more with the small businesses there. We've got a new streetscape that will be coming in sometime this year. We're trying to make improvements to attract more businesses in the community. We're one community that needs an additional grocery store.
Yeah.
We've got one going in at 17th and Clark, but we are still in a food desert in the heart of my ward, which is the Bronzeville community.
Right, that I'm aware of. As a matter of fact, the lady who coined the term food desert is meant. I've tried to have her on the show a few times. She used to work for the
Mari.
Rogers. Yeah.
Mari,
mhm,
great,
yeah.
great person. She and I used to work together many years ago at the planning department.
Yeah. Mari was one of the top people with the Rogers Park Development Corporation, which wasn't the same name then. And as meant, she was supposed to be on the show in November, and her mom passed away that week. So we'll get her back on. She's a very interesting, hardworking person.
Right, and she's done a lot to bring this issue to the attention of not just the Chicago area, but nationally. That term has been coined, and people are working on trying to alleviate food deserts all over the country.
Yeah, no, it's important. I know that I used to go through those neighborhoods more often when my business was of a different nature, and I wouldn't see. In some ways, I liked the idea that you didn't have the chain stores in some of these neighborhoods, but things like a supermarket is kind of important and very important. And I know myself that even though I rarely shop at major supermarkets, I shouldn't say that I was at Jewel today, but like on Devon Avenue, I love the private fruit stores and things like that, the fruit and vegetable stores.
We've had a really difficult time trying to attract the Jewels and the Dominics into our communities. Mariano's Fresh Market is one that's been willing to take a stand and come into our communities, and that's a real positive. We're working to bring a Walmart into the community. We've got a new one on 47th and Bishop, but we need one in the heart of the 3rd Ward, and we're working very hard to get them in place.
You know, the people, I know people that work at Mariano's have never been in one, but the people I know that they will actually go extra. They really like the quality of it.
Great customer service and, lots of different kinds of products. You know, if you're looking for something different, you'll find it there.
One of the things I really didn't realize until I was reading an article about a proposed Mariano's in Chicago is they were saying that they were going to wind up employing 900 people. And the thought that a supermarket employs that many people, never occurred to me.
Well, the one that's being built at 17th and Clark is going to employ 400 people. So
yeah,
we're really excited.
It was the downtown one that was the 900, but listen, 400 jobs is serious stuff.
It's serious, and one of the things we've been working with the owner on is to make sure that a significant number of those jobs come to people who are from the area, from the ward, and they've made they've said that they are committed to that. So we're going to hold their feet to the fire on that starting in June.
You know what? There's a bunch more stuff I can talk to you about, but if we keep talking, there's going to be no room for Marty at the end of the show.
Oh, okay. Marty, okay.
Marty Levinson over there.
I know, I see him over there.
We'll have you do the Marty Levinson bit afterwards, but I want to thank you very much. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Very
You're
nice
very
meeting
intelligent,
you.
and I think you're very well-intentioned, and I don't say that too often about an elected official.
Thank you. Very nice to meet you, Alderman.
I want to thank you, and if people would like to contact your office?
773-373-9273 or Ward 3 at cityofchicago.org.
Thank you very much, Alderman Pat Dowell, and it's been a pleasure having you, and I want to thank Jim Nelly for, he's the one who initially said, why don't you invite her?
Another great person, the best electional lawyer in the state of Illinois.
Totally agree with you, totally agree. Thank you so much, and all the best. And stay tuned for Marty Levinson.